Greetings to everyone out there. Today, we want to discuss a topic. We want to discuss value-added tax. Now, normally, when we talk of tax, most people are not too enamored about it. Most of us don't want to pay tax. But then without the payment of the tax, then it's difficult for us to have services. Well, I appreciate the problem in the sense that some of us have paid tax over the years. And this taxation which you paid, we don't seem to see it reflected in our circumstances. So you paid tax and then the road to your place is not paved, you supply your water and so on and so forth. So you're asking yourself, why do I have to pay tax? But I think that I want to discuss value-added tax today. It's been trending for quite some time, and there's been some criticisms about it. And I thought that we should be sensitized, to know exactly what the issues are. Now, the value-added tax is an indirect tax. It's not the same as the tax, company tax, your personal tax, petroleum profit tax, and the other taxes. This is an indirect tax in the sense that you don't pay this except you go to consume. So you go to buy something, so it's passed on to you. And what is very most important is that in an environment like Nigeria, it's not the value-added tax is not applied to all products and services within the system. So there are select products and services within the system that are not affected. So this is one of the things you have to take on board as we go on this journey, as we do this discussion. In this respect, and things like things that have to do with educational materials, things for children, and things for health, and for agriculture, and so on and so forth, they are exempt. They are not included in value-added tax. So that's one of the things that makes value-added tax different from the other taxes. Now, normally this tax is administered as you should expect, by the Federal Inland Revenue Services. And what the money that's collected into the pool is shared between the federal government, the state governments, and the local governments in the ratio of 15% to federal government, 50% to state governments, and 35% to local governments. So that's the sharing formula. Now, but once this money has been collected, we have to go back to let's talk about the history of this. That this thing has been on the card since 1996. We had this; it was there on the card, and then it was reviewed in 2007. Now the rate of this value-added tax in this environment has been 5%. It's been 5% since it was introduced. When it was introduced, it was we had what we call sales tax. Sales tax was what we had on ground, and so we now introduced the value-added tax as a replacement. So it's been on ground and it's been 5%. Upon introduction, in fact, it was meant to have been 10%, but discussions followed, and it was following negotiations, it was thought that it should be 5%. So it's been 5% all through. And the attempts, to increase this tax, from 5% to something higher, has been there and it's been resisted. Now, I think it's good for us to put this in context. Let's look at other countries within the sub-region. And if you look at the facts I have here, you find that in Ghana, value-added tax in Ghana is 15%, Nigeria is 19%, in Egypt is 14%, South Africa is 15%, Rwanda 18%, Kenya 16%, Angola 10%. And so you see that the sample of countries I've just taken now and I've cited, there's no country that has value-added tax at 5%. So I think that we should begin to look at it objectively, and begin to appreciate the fact that there's a need for us to begin to accede to this request by the authorities that this tax should be the rate should be increased. Now there are values attached to value-added tax in the sense that the amount of monies you can mobilize, the resources can mobilize, using value-added tax is enormous. It's not something that's only comparable with the suggestions that we've had out there that trending in social media that we should try and have the salaries of physical authorities and then use that in place of hiking VAT. The amount of money that was said to have been raised from this this source in 2016. It was about 2 trillion naira. And so the amount of money raised is high, and it's a source that's very easy to administer, very difficult for you to avoid, and so it's something that we should be open to and be prepared to look at again objectively. I think that we should look at it. I know what the problem has been. The problem has been that the fiscal authorities have lost some credibility over the years, and that people are saying, look, these people there's corruption in the system, you have these problems in the system, services are not being provided, and they're now going to ask us also to make further additional sacrifices, for this tax to be paid. Now, there have been arguments that it will cause increased inflation and it will depress capacity utilization and so on and so forth. But it's been proven, and I did the paper in which I just say that we should look at this again, that what the received wisdom is that in the long run, that value-added tax is not inflationary. So I think that's something that we should try again and look at and see what is to be done. But I think that is an area that our compatriots should be open to. We know that because the situation on ground today is not sustainable. We have a situation whereby the only revenue accruing to the treasury is from the extractive sector. Is the money that accrues to federal government, the revenue that accrues to federal government, 70% is from oil. And we need to diversify. This is the most important thing. We need to diversify the revenue base of this country. We've been on this for a very long time, since the advent of SAP. Introduced SAP, that was meant to diversify the revenue base of this country. We've not been able to do that. So this is one of the reasons why we need to make sure that we look at this again. And so I invite all of us to adopt some flexibility in the drive by the fiscal monetary authorities, to have this tax introduced, and for us to even have an upward review of the rates. I thank you for listening to this video.